I'm Sarah Louise. Welcome to my channel where I take you along with me on my self-discovery journey. So today I wanted to do a video on consent. So we all know about very obvious consent, especially when it comes to sort of verbal consent where we say no and somebody else either accepts that no or they don't accept that no. And that's kind of what we've been taught is consent. And something I've been realizing over the last few days is that there's so many layers to consent. So you might actually consent to something, but internally you're not consenting to it. And it's a very different way of looking at consent. And of course, we can't blame it on another person or project it on another person because we've given them verbal consent, and we can't expect everybody to be a mind reader or telepathic or intuitively feel that really we mean no. So it is something that we have to take responsibility for on our own journey, is when it comes to internal consent. But I realized how many times in my life that I've been kind of like out of consent internally. And when I started thinking about this, I realized how it extended beyond romantic relationships, but also into work as well. The amount of times that I actually consented to things without really wanting to do them is mind-blowing. You know, I was working as a photographer, and there's so many times when people would ask me to edit extra images, and really I'm thinking, you know, that's extra money. Hell no. Or you've chosen way too many images, but I would just do them and I would consent to it. So I can't blame them, but internally I was completely out of consent. And I realized that like there's different reasons for us being out of consent at different times. So that one for me, I believe, was probably around not feeling enough, not feeling valuable enough. Like I didn't feel my work was enough for me to just give it as it is. Like I always had to go the extra mile. It's a little bit of people pleasing, right? It's like not feeling like your value is enough without having to go the extra mile. And that if someone asked me to do something, I wouldn't even say that's more money or no, I can't do that. I would just always do it. I would just always do it. And I realized that, you know, with my own responsibility, I can't blame these people. They asked, they took advantage a little bit, and, you know, I agreed to it. So verbally, there was a consent, but internally, there was something there for me to look at, process and work on, right? And even in sex, like I'm one of those people that my whole life, if I've said no, I've never changed my mind, and I've always had very good boundaries around that, right? I know not everybody has the same boundaries, but I had really, like, I would always decide, I was probably a bit too strict on this, I'd always decide beforehand, and I would never change my mind on this in the moment. But I did realize that actually after that, I've been out of consent at times, like when, for example, someone's done something really nice for me, like booked a hotel, and maybe I've actually decided I don't really, you know, I'm questioning the connection with that person, but I feel almost this responsibility that, you know, I kind of have to meet them halfway. And this is something around, you know, that I don't like things to be out of balance to such a degree that if somebody does something really nice, I feel like I have to balance that out and sort of give them what they want. And I realize there's just actually quite a few different things that can cause us to do this. It can be like not valuing ourselves. It can also be from, I realize that there's times when I've actually been out of consent because I've not wanted someone else to feel hurt. Because I've realized maybe that I actually don't want to be with that person anymore, but I'm having trouble rejecting them. And I wouldn't do this with like a new person, but I definitely, when I'm sort of at that verge where I'm thinking, I'm not sure I want to be with this person anymore, I've almost just not wanted to hurt their feelings or make them feel rejected, because I hate being rejected so much. But there's all different layers to this, and I'm kind of just scratching the surface at the moment. But I'm realizing that we go around talking about verbal consent a lot without really thinking about internal consent. And that's a self-work process, of course, and something that we have to work through alone, right? Or with a coach or a counselor, but it's a very much inner process. We can't expect other people to understand our internal values or what we're thinking internally. And sure, some people will take advantage, but you know, that is going to be life, and it is something that we have to learn to heal within. And it's just something that's really been coming up for me a lot lately, to really dive into and explore this area of really checking in with myself. Like every time I agree to something, you know, do I really want to agree with it, or am I agreeing for a reason that's not actually genuine because of some area where I don't either feel enough and like I always have to go the extra mile, or where I feel like the need to balance something, or I feel the need to people please, or I feel the need to be kind to somebody and not reject them. Where is my answer coming from? And I think women are particularly, you know, I don't want to split genders, but I think women have particularly been brought up to have difficulty with consent, actually, a little bit more so than men, although obviously everybody can struggle with it. But yeah, let me know your thoughts about this topic, and yeah, I hope everyone is well. And I'm going to be trying to upload a video every day because I actually want to start putting some focus into growing my channel and allowing that to happen if it's meant to. And yeah, speak soon. Bye bye.